Peace. Okay, so this is part two of my discussion regarding Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde. So to recap, Saturn retrograde it is taking place this year from June 29th to November 15th. Neptune retrograde is taking place from July 2nd until December 7th. Both of them are in Pisces, and what I advise you to do is to pull your natal chart so that you can find out what house is aligned with Pisces. So once you identify what house is aligned with Pisces, then you are able to follow me through the houses as I tell you how this Saturn and Neptune retrograde season can affect you in your life. Okay, so pull that chart, find out. If you have Pisces aligned with houses 1 through 4, any one of those houses, then definitely check out part 1 of this series. If you have Pisces aligning with houses 5 through 8, anywhere in there, then stick around because that's what this video will cover. And then we will move on to houses 9 through 12. So let's get started. If you have Pisces aligned with house 5 in your natal chart, house 5 is aligned with love and romance in our lives, and also it covers creativity as well as our parenting style. It really has a childlike essence to it. So people who have many planets in their 5th house are typically very creative people, but also a bit childlike in their the way they move through the world. So when you have Saturn retrograde transiting through your 5th house, because you have the 5th house in Pisces, then it's important to make sure that you are, unless you are a child, it's important to make sure that you have a healthy balance between playtime and any work that you do, the goals that you have in life, the boundaries that you have set, to not allow yourself to be so much of a free thinker and freely moving around in the world that you aren't able to have any sense of structure in your life. So it's time to definitely check in with yourself on that front. Also, for Neptune in Pisces transiting through your 5th house, that's a bit of, so it's encouraging you to explore your creative self. It's encouraging you to explore that childlike nature, but to make sure that you keep things in balance, and so that you're not doing too much of anything in excess. Because having Pisces aligned with your 5th house, while it does give you a bit of a rose-colored lensed view of life, and you're able to really see the beauty in life and find the silver lining in a lot of different experiences, it can also put you in some situations where you're taken advantage of, where you may have a bit of a gullible vibe to you. And Saturn retrograde moving through the 5th house, if your 5th house is in Pisces, then that will help you to just to hone in on and tweak any aspect of you where you are maybe turning a blind eye to different situations, specifically your relationships with others, as well as relationships with children. Okay, so then we move on to the 6th house. Now, the 6th house governs health and service and our overall well being. It is also governing how we care for others, and I always like to advise clients when they are considering what aspect of work they should delve into, to check into their 6th house. The 10th house is always spoken of when covering career aspects, but the 6th house, because it governs health and service, it really is a great house to look at with regard to how best to serve your community, how best to connect with others, connect with the collective. And so having the 6th house in Pisces, that does mean that you're someone who, and I see this this grease stain on my cardigan is distracting, but whatever, we're doing this. So yeah, having the 6th house in Pisces that gives you that bit of compassion and that bleeding heart type of energy with regard to serving your community. Saturn retrograde transiting through that sixth house in Pisces, that will help you to identify and assess any ways that you can, apply your goals to that bleeding heart energy that you have, so that you're not helping others and caring for others to your own detriment, but where you can tighten up and really spearhead and put some focus into that effort, so you're not just giving all around and others will take, but where you can give in more of a structured manner. You can turn your service into more of a focused effort to really be effective in all that you do, whether it's caring for your own family, your inner circle, or caring for the community at large. So this is really a way to add some structure to the efforts that you put out there, because you give a lot having the sixth house in Pisces. And then Neptune in Pisces in the sixth house, that will help you to really, when you're coming up with ways, identifying ways to add some focus to all of the efforts that you do. Neptune will help you with regard to coming up with those ideas. Just tap into your intuition and always use discernment in your giving to make sure that what you're doing is really fruitful and really effective, and not just giving just for the sense of giving. And I'm not necessarily talking about money, although that could be a part of it. I'm talking about giving of yourself, your time, your energy, your effort that you put forth, to just make sure that you're not doing it to your own detriment. Okay. So then if you have Pisces in the seventh house, the seventh house has to do with long-term relationships and partnerships. It also governs marriage as well. So having the seventh house in Pisces, it already means that you have this, you bring this dreamlike type of energy to your long-term relationships. But having Saturn retrograde transiting through that seventh house, that means that it's really time to make sure that you are honoring your boundaries, and if you don't have any, setting boundaries in your long-term relationship, so that you're not losing yourself in your relationship, so that you're not, waking up one day and realizing, like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even, see myself in what I'm doing and how I'm being, how I'm moving in this relationship. Saturn retrograde transiting through your seventh house is giving you an opportunity to, because there's no time like the present, to just, take a beat and to assess things. It's all about assessing things and identifying, again, if you do need to tweak things, if you do need to advocate for yourself more, speak up more in your relationship, stand on, your values and your boundaries in your relationship, so that you're not just becoming a shell of yourself, but that you are actually still staying true to yourself and being present, a present and active participant in your relationship, and not just going through the motions. And Neptune retrograde transiting through your seventh house, it will give you um, it will give you a bit of the lightheartedness that you need. If you feel, especially having the seventh house in Pisces, it may make you a bit of a softie in relationships, and there's nothing wrong with that. It may even make you feel like, you know what, I don't put too much stock in the longevity of relationships. I'm just here, the here and now. But Neptune transiting through that seventh house will give you a bit of lighthearted, dreamy energy to think of all that your relationship could become. And it can become a lot, but it's important that you remain that active part in whatever is to become, and not just leaving yourself on the side of the road and just going through the motions like a hamster spinning their wheel. And that is something that can happen a lot in relationships, especially long-term relationships. So then we move on to the eighth house. The eighth house governs birth, death, rebirth, regeneration. It even governs sex as well as inheritances. So a lot going on with the eighth house. Heavy eighth house energy, meaning having a lot of planetary energy in the eighth house. It will have someone be uber spiritual and really into conspiracy theories and uncovering the hidden meaning of everything. The eighth house is governed by Pluto and Scorpio energy. So, having Saturn retrograde going through the eighth house in Pisces, that will give you a chance to um, just make sure that you are not going down to the rabbit hole to the point of having a doom and gloom mentality. It will help to, again, give you a sense of structure and like a true format with regard to um, why certain things matter to you, certain affairs of importance. And so this could go a few different ways because of all that the eighth house covers. So, on one hand, it's about making sure that you you don't just let your mind go off the deep end with regard to the conspiracy theories and um, affairs that have to do with end of life matters, but where you question yourself before you go off the deep end trying to uncover the hidden meaning of things. You really take a step back and pause and think before I consume this information, whether it's this show, this documentary, this blog post, something on social media, before I really indulge in this information, because it's all about consumption. Before I do that, is it for my overall wellness? How will I feel afterwards? Definitely before bedtime, before any type of sleep, making sure that you are managing your time well, managing your energy well, so that you do not allow yourself to consume anything that is not for your overall wellness, that will not serve you well. So, Saturn retrograde through the eighth house, especially in Pisces, is fine time for you to check in with your spirituality and your spiritual practices and anything that you consume to make sure that you are doing things that are for your overall wellness. And then at the same time, because of the eighth house also governing sex and intimacy, it is really a good time with Saturn retrograde going through the eighth house in Pisces that you just make sure that you tighten up if you are being a bit risky with your intimacy. If you are indulging in some things that, again, are not for your overall wellness, but are in the sexy time segment of your life, then just make sure that you are practicing caution. And it can be fun to throw caution to the wind, but it really is important for you if you have Pisces in the eighth house and now Saturn is going through retrograde through your eighth house, that you tighten up in that area. Just really, I mean, it's a time and a place for everything, but just make sure that you are serving yourself well in everything that you do. And then Neptune is going to have you feel like, you could just do it all. You could see it all. You could do it all. You only have one life to live, all of that. And you will rebound well when you experience different things as a result of your own actions. But just, again, tap into your discernment and make sure that you are doing things for your overall wellness with regard to sexy time matters, with regard to going down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, and with life's changes to make sure that you set yourself up in a good position to manage the changes that we go through, because having the eighth house in Pisces can be emotional and be taxing emotionally when you experience changes that really shake up your life, those pivotal moments. And so Saturn retrograde going through the eighth house is here to encourage you to just take a beat and to check in with yourself, make sure that you are setting yourself up to be able to manage that change well. And if you're not, that you go on and you take the steps that it takes for you to. Only you know yourself and how you're able to manage your time and your energy. So definitely, it's all about discernment here. So that is it for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where I will talk about if you have Pisces in houses 9 through 12 and how these upcoming retrogrades in Saturn and Neptune will affect you.